6 years ago, we had a phone call from the design director of the mosque asking us if we would be interested in coming over and meeting to be considered for lighting the building. And we knew about the building. Everybody who knows this region knows about the Grand Mosque. And it was being constructed in concrete and it's a very large building. So you couldn't really miss it. So we were certainly interested in the opportunity. So I came over and had an interview with the director and had a chance to walk around the building when it was purely a concrete shell. And it was fascinating. It was fabulous. It was a wonderful, wonderful building with a great deal of opportunity. And from that interview, we were appointed to become the lighting designers for the project. Our role on the project was for the interior lighting for all the public areas, the prayer halls, the open prayer halls, the ablution areas, as well as the exterior for the building, the facades and the colonnades. And what was interesting in terms of the discussions at the interview was that I asked the question, did they want, including Sheikh Sultan, who was the representative from the family in charge of the project, did they want the building floodlit at night, or did they want some other story, a philosophy, an idea that would be different from just the building illuminated in a normal way? And they said absolutely they wanted something different, and we said absolutely we would love to help. They were looking for us to analyze the building and study the building and to come back with an approach that was more of an artistic idea than just an illumination. So they wanted something that was obviously visible and would represent the building to a greater macro scale and a viewpoint. But they trusted us. They trusted us to come back with some ideas that they would like. And we came back with two ideas primarily. And they liked both of the ideas. And the one that we ended up with is the one they liked the most. We wanted to tell a story that spoke about dignity and respect and had a reference to the functionality of the building. This is a religious building. It's an important Islamic space for education and for prayer. And we wanted to try and take all of those things into consideration when we produced an idea and a proposal for the building. One of the things that we strove to achieve in the interiors was to avoid seeing visible light fixtures, which is one of our core tenets of philosophy. It involves a lot more study and experimentation and challenges, but that whole aspect of trying to lose the equipment, hide the equipment, is a very important issue for us. We want people to see the luminous architecture. With the exterior, we strove in the same way, but the sheer scale of the building, it was much, much harder to achieve that invisibility. So as a result, we have certain situations on some angles where I'm able to see fixtures more than I particularly would like to, but still the most important thing is that the building has the message and has the story which we strove to achieve all the way through. The overall concept for this building was one of respect for the religion, and as some people may know, the Islamic calendar is dictated by the lunar cycle, and as the moon waxes and wanes, we wanted the building to breathe with the moon in the same way that the moon has an impact on the tides. We wanted the moon to have an impact on the building. And so our concept, our idea, our artistic idea for this was to have a building that when it was a beautiful full moon, that the building would be lit pristinely with white light, with this textural quality of, if you've ever looked at the beautiful full moon in the sky, and there's a wisp of cloud that is slowly moving across the moon, that for us is a very evocative, very powerful, very poetic image. And we were very interested in the idea of taking this texture and having this movement of light across the building. And the directionality of this was important in the same way the orientation of a mosque is critically important in terms of the prayers through the Qibla wall going to Mecca. We wanted to have this movement of the texture coming from Mecca. So there's always a directionality that responds to the building with the movement of light. As opposed to just having a swirling mass, we wanted this directionality. And so on a full moon we have white light. And in the 28-day cycle, 14 days from full moon to no moon back to the full moon again, every couple of evenings we have a slight change in the lighting. So it becomes a little bit more blue, a little bit more blue, a little bit more blue, until on the 14th evening we have a deep blue, which signifies no moon, the moon that's waned. And the aspect of that is that we could just switch the building down in terms of switching more and more of it off or reducing the intensity. But we still wanted, and I think our client still wanted to have a building that had a presence and had some impact for part of the cycle. So we felt that this blue coloration was a very poetic way of dealing with the issue of changing from white to black without ending up with a dark building. In terms of cultural responsibility and sensitivity, we did an awful lot of reading. When we first were appointed to the project, we read as much as we could about the religion, about Islamic architecture, about mosque architecture. We spoke to a lot of people in terms of their understanding and appreciation of mosques. And it's interesting in terms of, if you look around Abu Dhabi or Dubai or other cities or towns in the region, when their mosques are illuminated, they tend to use the colour green, which we were advised was the Prophet's favourite colour and very much an important colour in terms of the culture. We felt that that would be a reverentially good colour to use. It didn't fit with the cycle of the moon, and therefore we felt that the blue was far more poetic and more sympathetic to that. To be honest, when we presented it and discussed the colours, the option of colour with the client, the reaction to the idea of going from white to blue was instantly accepted. There was no debate about should it be green or purple or pink. The one thing we didn't want to do was we didn't want to make this into a multicolour resort mosque. This is a religious building. It's an important building, and therefore a sensitivity in terms of the use of colour was paramount. And so again, this almost monochromatic use of white light and blue light instead of all the colours of the rainbow, we felt was sympathetic and pleasant and beautiful and the right idea.